afternoon. Happy Wednesday. Glad you're here. It's a beautiful day, absolutely gorgeous here. And our air conditioning is working. That makes us happy. And the coffee is made. That makes me extra happy. I have ice in my cup because I'm going to do iced coffee. Some in there as well, but still need coffee. Just make it a little colder. There we go. What's in your cup today? You know, we've got to make this be a collaboration. I tell you, I have coffee, I have ice. What do you have? Go ahead, introduce yourself. Get to know each other. Take a minute, type in, hi, it's Leanne, I'm from Portland, Oregon. Here's my tulip, put your icon on there. And I happen to be drinking coffee. Start the collaboration. That's the best part about this. If you're on your phone, turn it sideways. Yes, the housekeeping. If you're a regular, you've heard me say that many times. If you turn it sideways, the picture's bigger. If the comments get in the way, you can swipe it, and then you won't see the comments until you swipe the other way to bring them back. So then you just get the photo. If you're on your TV, already larger than life. If you are on your computer, go ahead and go to full screen, because that way you can get a little bit bigger. Move the phone aside because I don't need that. Today, we're in the back to school mode. That's all we've been thinking about around here, because class starts on September 16th and our online students are just busy bees because they're using all those fabulous flowers from their summer garden or the farmer's market or whatever. So we've been really focused on school. So then I thought, okay, live, what do I want to do? And I decided that let's think about going back to school and an apple for the teacher. So that is how we started, that we're going to do apples today because it seemed appropriate for back to school. We've got the full house with us again, which is pretty great. In the studio, Teacher Michelle and Teacher Annie are both here. They'll be watching your comments, voicing them to me, and then I will be able to answer you. Or if you've just got a comment that you want to make, they'll let me know, because I love to hear what's going on in your world. Then virtually, we have Teacher Dub with us in Texas. Then Susie and Caledonia are both with us. Susie is on YouTube. Caledonia is on Facebook, and David's with us, hopping back and forth on both sides. So you may have noticed that I skipped a name. Did you catch that? I know, I always say, and type in the name if you know. You can, this will be a little quiz, but I'm also going to tell you. I skipped one person because I wanted to let you know there's been a little bit of a change around here at Floral Design Institute, which is very exciting. Many of you have worked with me for several years, and so you've met my husband, David. Well, David officially retired. So yes, David, I'm outing you now. Yes, he is officially retired. And Ricky, who I did not introduce earlier, has been promoted to the creative director position. So let's all do a shout out and applause and yay for creative director Ricky. It's been happening for a little bit, but I was waiting until everything sort of settled and we got used to it. And now you know we have a new creative director here at Floral Design Institute, Madam Ricky. So kudos to Ricky for putting up with me and the rest of the team and trying to rein us all in and keep us live and keep us on track, which pretty great. So let's get started. We've got designs. I'm going to do the first one with just a single apple for the teacher. It is a classic Granny Smith, so it's that beautiful green. And I had this gorgeous green vessel. I got it at our local wholesale house. I don't know the company, doesn't say. But it was from our local wholesale house. It is glass, colored. I filled it with midnight foam so that it's got the black in there, excuse me, instead of green. Then just going to score out those corners a little bit. Don't need those there. Now, when you're working with apples, it's actually quite easy. You may have seen some of our videos. If you go to flowerschool.com and look at the video library, you could type in apple or fruit and several videos will come up. If you're on YouTube and you go to the Tulip Tuesday playlist, you'll find several videos that show you how to work with different fruits and working in that Delorobia format. So I'll be doing that. I decided this one's going to be a little bit brighter. So I picked oranges and hot pink, just vivid bright colors to go with my green apple. So while I'm doing that, who's with us today?
Well, they're still chiming in on Facebook, but so far I've seen Harmony, who's just up the road in Olympia, Amy, Rose, Sherry, Scott, Sarah, Michael in Florida, Drake, Jim, Roger, and then on YouTube, oh my goodness, there are a lot of people. I haven't caught up to them all yet.
I love it. Well, we have to do a shout out to Michael. Michael is in Florida. He is a graduate of both our basic and our advanced program. And he is getting ready to head off to Panama, where he is competing in the, what is it called? Think, Leanne? Something Cup.
America's Cup?
American, no.
Let me look.
Gateway to the Americas Cup. That's what it is. Gateway to the Americas. And so he is putting together his props. I know he was doing some welding work and getting things done and getting ready to leave. I think he leaves on Sunday, heading out to the Gateway to the Americas Cup in Panama. So Michael, we wish you well and can't wait to see pictures of what you create and hear about all the grand fun. I'm very excited for you. I don't know that we've ever had a graduate go to the Gateway to the Americas Cup. I judged it one year when it was in Vancouver, BC. Actually, I was not judge. I started as judge and then ended up getting moved to timekeeper and the legalities of things, making sure everything is done correctly so that nobody cheats and blah, blah, blah. And it was really a great opportunity to see wonderful floral artists. So I know you're going to have fun in Panama, that's for sure. As I was working here, I took 3 skewers and placed them into the apple. Then using the Oasis Floral adhesive, I put that right on the point of insertion, because that way it heals that wound, closes it off, so that it doesn't decay as rapidly. And it also helps hold the apple onto the stick. So it's just that little extra step that makes everything better. So then I can place that in, and I did 3, because anytime you have 3 legs, think of a 3-legged stool, it's more stable, it's not tippy. So this way it'll make my apple stable, and I can have it come up above so that I can add flowers in below, but it'll come up. So I think about my height, and I may end up pulling it up or down a little bit, but I'm going to leave it there for right now, make that judgment call as I go along. Then I have some parakeet heliconia. They're beautiful. That vivid orange, giving it a cut. Then placing it in, finding the perfect spot. This perfect spot always moves. And like, what spot is it? Where am I putting this? So hard. But you put it and you hope that you're correct. So I have another question for you. Got your typing fingers ready? Okay. Some of you are on YouTube. Some of you are on Facebook. Why are you using that platform? What is your preference? What makes it better? I'm just curious because we study it and work on both, and I want to make sure that we're the best on both. But what makes you choose YouTube? Or what makes you choose Facebook? Go ahead and let us know. Inquiring minds here. I'm wearing my teacher hat. It seems like whenever I get ready for back to school, I start wondering things and I'm trying to learn and become more knowledgeable. And so that's one of the things I'd like to know is what makes you choose YouTube over Facebook or vice versa? And Michelle or Annie, if you see anything out there, yell away.
Well, we do have a first timer over on YouTube. She's watched us a lot, but this is her first time participating in chat.
Thank you for joining us. I'm glad you're here. Did you happen to remember the name? No? Well, let's just say, hey, all first timers, welcome. And Tulips, give a shout out to the first timers. So I'm just working in a radial fashion, grouping my roses. I'm going to grab my turntable so that I can spin it a little more easily. Thank you, Kim.
So I'm getting lots of good comments on why they're on what platform. A lot of people watch us on YouTube, but comment on Facebook. They have a bigger screen. That was one of the main things. If they're watching live, they watch Facebook, but if they're going to watch the replay, it's easier on YouTube.
Oh, interesting. So the replay is easier.
Mm-hmm.
If you can explain that at all, fill it in there just because I'm curious. Fascinating. Okay. Good to know.
Somebody said, I can't figure Facebook out, which I can relate to on occasion.
You know, there's truth to that. Each platform is a little bit different and can be challenging to master. And so if one is more familiar to you, that's the one you're going to default to more often than not. That is true. And learning a new one is so challenging. Tucking in some vivid orange marigolds. And if you don't like the fragrance of the marigold, if you go to the YouTube channel, gotta go there for that, to the Tulip Tuesdays and type in marigold, I will show you in there how to take it so that they don't have that horrible, well, I shouldn't say horrible, that strong scent that some people don't love, others do love, but if you go onto the YouTube playlist for Tulip Tuesdays, type in marigold, you'll find how to get rid of that scent so that you get the beauty without the aroma. That sounds better, aroma. Turning it, double checking, seeing what else I need to add in here. I think I need another of the marigolds. I'm going to tuck that in. Bring it down on this side. So I actually love to design with apples. Oh, I broke that marigold. I guess I won't use it. I love to design with apples, and I use them in a lot of arrangements, sometimes year-round, but especially in the late summer and autumn. Also like to work with pears and citrus. Do you have a favorite fruit you like to work with? What's your thoughts there? You know, in the classroom, we work with citrus quite often because we use it for the colors. We want that yellow and orange and green, and so we do a lot with citrus. Haven't used the apples so much in the classroom. We may have to do that again one of these days, but currently not.
You've done persimmons quite a bit too.
Oh, true. We have done the persimmons. Those are always grand. I do like those. Did pineapple a little bit, but pineapple, it didn't speak to me as much. It wasn't my favorite. But it gives you that wonderful Williamsburg look that is kind of fun. So I won't say I'll never use it. It's just not usually my first choice.
So Leanne, Heidi had a question on fruit in arrangements, and she wondered, how do you select the best fruit to use?
That is a great question, and one that it makes me laugh because when I used to live in Seattle, I would oftentimes go to the Pike Place Market to buy fruit, and Mike, who was the person that we bought from most of the time, he would always ask me, okay, Leanne, are you buying this to make arrangements or are you buying this to eat? Because he would sell me different things depending upon what I was using it for. So if we were using it to eat, if I was buying something that I was taking home for David to cook with, he would get the absolute perfect ripeness, ready to go now, and didn't really care if it was pretty. He looked simply for flavorful ripeness. And so oftentimes it would be a softer item. But if I'm buying something to design, I look at the cosmetic first. I want to make sure it's beautiful. I don't want bruises. I don't want damaged spots. So I look at the cosmetic, and then once I have picked my favorite cosmetically, then I touch, and I'm looking for firm, hard flesh. I don't want anything too soft, because I know that if it's soft, it's just not going to work well. So it's visual, and then firmness when you're looking for that. Ripe does not enter into the equation except for bad.
Victoria had a great suggestion, and it would work really well with what you're designing today, is she uses an apple core to take the center out of the apples and then use the apple as a candle holder, a taper holder.
Let's see if I can find it quickly. I do too, and no, I'm not finding it quickly. Oh, there it is. I don't know that this is actually an apple corer, but it is an apple thinger that I do use to bring out that center, and then it holds a tea light. So maybe that is called an apple corer. I call it my candle maker thing. But I know, aren't these the greatest things ever? I think they are just wonderful. And they work with other things besides just apples. You can use them on gourds and such, and squash, and do some really pretty things with it. So if you want to be real aggressive, you get out your drill and do it with that drill thing that's kind of a weird shape. And what is it called? Do you know, Michelle? I don't know. You know that one that's flat that drills it out? I don't know.
Like a Dremel?
Yeah. Okay. See, I'm surrounding myself with smart people. So Ricky knows Dremel. And so, because sometimes they're too hard to get it out manually, and so if you use a Dremel drill bit, you can really carve it out cool. So yes. Okay. So just tucking in a few things, sticking with the hot colors. I think I'm going to enhance with a tiny bit of yellow. This is goldenrod. Commercially, we use solid aster most of the time. Goldenrod is a little bit bigger and bolder. Sometimes it is actually more golden as well. This was lemony, so it's that brighter yellow. And it was local from, I want to say, Barefoot Farms, right here outside of the Portland area, with Linda. I'm pretty sure this was hers. If not, Linda, you're getting credit for it anyway. So. But she's probably out in her fields right now because it's been kind of warm. And so having to make sure you keep things watered and harvested, staying on top of it because it's going quickly. Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to stop there for the first one. So the whole concept here was to make sure to think about using the wooden skewer to provide your feet, using the Oasis Flow adhesive to secure it, placing it in, and then making a decision how high you want it. You can drop it a little bit if you want it slightly lower, and then spinning it to make sure that it works with the design the way you wanted, and then just sticking with the hot colors. Perfect to give as a gift for the teacher on the first day of school. Or maybe on the day after your child was not the perfect child and you want to say, oh, I'm sorry. Or maybe you're starting flower school on September 16th. And so that would be time to get your apples in order and get ready to make an apple for the teacher. So, I mean, we all like apples, so. Cool. Yes, Michelle.
Well, speaking of school, Lila in Massachusetts just received her certificate in the mail today. And she said, thank you for all you do to help keep us learning about flowers.
You're welcome, Lila. Congratulations on your graduation, and proud of you. And thanks for joining us. I know Annie just created some more certificates. They're sitting on my desk waiting for me to sign after live, so they'll go out in the mail tomorrow, because we have several graduates this week. Larry just graduated. In fact, I was able to do his final evaluation myself, so I know that he is ready to go and is actually going to take the online test with the American Institute of Floral Designers, so he'll be both FDI and CFD, which is, I mean, the whole purpose of your education is to get your credentials and prove to the world that you're ready to go. So congratulations to all the graduates. If there's others here that have recently graduated or just getting ready to, let us know, because it's nice to say congratulations to you in public. You deserve it. Now, I'm going to do another arrangement. While I am pulling my stuff, if you would please take a moment and share this video out. If you think there should be somebody watching it with you, tag them, or just share it onto your line where people will see it. If you're on YouTube, push the thumbs up button so that we get those numbers up. Help us with the algorithms, please, because we need to spread the FDI world out to the world, and it's through you that we can. Any more input on why one platform over the other?
I saw that Christy had a good comment. She said that she watches us on YouTube because that's how she found us, but she follows us on Facebook to keep up with what we're doing on the daily.
Okay. Because we do try to post onto Facebook every day so that you can see what's happening, what's going on. And so you found us on YouTube. I'm glad. You know, it's interesting. We have 111,000 people who have followed and subscribed on YouTube, who are part of our Tulip Bunch. 111,000. That to me is such a big number and such an honor to have you be part of us. So thank you. Then we've got 75,000 on Facebook, and I'm sure there's overlap there. I'm sure some of you are on both. I know I do both, and back and forth. And I couldn't tell you, I'm trying to get my bind wire in here, there we go. I couldn't tell you which I prefer. They're different. And so sometimes I prefer YouTube and other times I prefer Facebook, but I'm glad that I have both because they are a different beast. You would think, oh wow, it's just social, whatever, but they do things differently, so it's good to be on both. So I invite you, if you have not already subscribed to YouTube, maybe you're one of our Facebook audience, stay there, we love you, but go ahead and subscribe to YouTube as well. And then if you are on YouTube and you've never visited us on Facebook, pop over there. Take a look, like and follow, and that way we can see you in both places. There we go. So using just a standard lidded basket, I put a plastic liner on the inside so it'll be watertight, and then I'm using floral netting on the inside to give myself a little bit of structure. And so now I need water. I didn't put water in it because I wanted to lift it up to show you, and I didn't want to pour water all over everything. So now adding my water. And with the water, I always pre-mix it with flower food. So those of you that have gone to school, you know we preach, always use your flower food, it really makes a difference. I do. Even on our live arrangements, we use flower food because we want them to stay alive as long as possible. You know, you make them and they're beautiful and you want to enjoy them and keep them fresh and perky. So this one, little bit of magnolia. I liked it because it's got that bigger leaf, little bolder for the basket. It's copperish on the back side, a vivid green on the front side. Breaking it so that I have a good drinking area, and then setting it down in. So this will help keep the lid from falling down. This will keep it from going backwards where I bind wired it, and then the magnolia will keep it from falling closed so that it keeps it right where I want it. If it's not to the length that you can break it, really whittle the end so that you've got good coverage there. And it's going to be fun with school starting again because the season, flowers are just at their peak. You know, we've got all the late summer beauty, and then the fall items are starting to come in. So class will have the benefit of both. I know our online students have been sending in submissions with so much wonderful stuff because their gardens are in full bloom, or some are using just weeds that they find on the side of the road, but they're pretty. And then enhancing with just some things from the farmer's market or the grocery store or the flower shop to finish filling out. So it's perfect, perfect, perfect time for flower school.
So here was a question that came in, Leanne. You put chicken wire in there, but do we also teach foam in flower school?
We do. We try to teach you all the mediums so that you can choose what works best for you. So we'll do foam, we'll do floral netting, we'll do a kinzon, we'll do foam alternatives, so that, and we do an armature. So all different ways of doing it, and that way you can choose which works best for you in each situation, because it's going to vary depending on what it is you're making and what you like to work with. So definitely we do all of it. So more of the Granny Smith and some skewers. This time I'm doing just 2. I had them hiding at the front of my table so that they were out of your sight, but I could still reach them.
Now, are those fancy skewers that you're working with there, Leanne?
Fancy. We like fancy. These are just shish kebab skewers from the kitchen. I have found that I've started using them more than the wired wood pick because they don't give you that green stain. Now, wired wood pick, if you watch a lot of our videos, you'll see that I use those as well. I have nothing totally against them. I just have found that the skewer works better without staining. It doesn't give you that green dye onto the produce, so I like that better. If you join us in school in September or October, you'll find that you'll actually use the skewers in the classroom. We use them as a teaching tool so that you can master the understanding and execution of a professional binding point and understand what radial placement or parallel placement, all your different lines. So you will actually use some of my shish kebab skewers I share with you so that we've got plenty. I know teacher Michelle had just asked me, you know, oh, should I order more skewers because school's starting? And I said, I have a whole box. And I got the box out because we needed them. And then probably after this class, we'll have to order them because even though you can reuse them, they start breaking and they get lost and who knows, maybe you take them home to practice at home. I don't know. But anyway, all of a sudden we have no more skewers, so we have to do something. Now, these are going to be a little tall. I'm going to put it in so you can see. See how that's way up high? That's not going to work. It's not going to be stable. So I have to cut these down a bit.
Christine said that in a pinch she's also used chopsticks.
Chopsticks work great. In fact, if you've got a heavier item, the chopsticks are, oh, I'm throwing sticks at everybody in the studio. Ooh, the chopsticks can be very good because they give you a little bit more substance and control. So yes, excellent. You know, I think one of the things that we have learned as florists with, you know, we always blame COVID for everything, but COVID did cause supply chain disruption. And we all had to learn to work with things a little differently than what we maybe had before. And the benefit of that is that we learned that we could do so much with alternative materials. And sometimes it turned out to be better. It was so great. And so this is one of those types of things that if you always had wood picks, then you might not even think to use a wood skewer or a chopstick. Yeah. I'm just nestling them in. And I'm trying to decide if it's going to still be too tall. Yeah, I think that was still a little too tall. And I'm trying to get this one. I should be wearing protective goggles while I do this. And I'm probably going to have workman's comp claims from the studio audience. Oh my gosh. Okay, I'm going to go way down over here. That is pretty funny, actually. Not. It is really not a good idea to harm the staff. It's considered poor form.
We would agree.
So, magnolia and apples by themselves already is so fun. But then I can go back and add in a few more things.
That really does look amazing just as it is, Leanne.
I know, isn't it fun? I know, maybe I should just stop. We'll end early and go out for a glass of wine.
That's apple pie.
Oh my, I probably shouldn't stop early. I have more that I have to do here. Finding the hole to get it down into the water. And using the green trick dianthus just to add some texture and depth of color. Just finishes it off a little better.
Now, how long will the apples last with the skewers? Does it shorten their life substantially?
Well, it only has to last until tomorrow when Ricky takes the picture. So what does it matter? No.
Then we can make apple pie.
Then we can make apple pie. That's true, because it is a food grade shish kebab. I don't know, but
And you didn't put glue on these.
I did put glue on them.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Yeah. If you put the apple with the skewer without glue, you're going to get maybe 3 or 4 days. But with the glue, you can get significantly longer because it's sealing that wound. So you probably get 5 or 6 days, so similar to an arrangement. Now I will be honest, one time I did an apple wreath for my door, and I have an interior door to the corridor of our building, so it's not outside where it's cold, so it's inside where it's heated. And I had put together this beautiful apple and pear wreath. Oh, it was stunning. And put it on my door. And then David and I went on vacation. And when we came back, we had so many fruit flies. It was just devastatingly awful. I felt so bad for my neighbors because the whole floor was just filled with fruit flies. And all of them originated from my door. So I wasn't the favorite neighbor. So you don't want to deal with it long term indoors. So don't figure it's 2 or 3 weeks. But you could get a week out of it with the skewer as long as you have glued it. Yeah. So tucking in just a little bit of straw flour. It's interesting how straw flower is coming back on trend. It was so popular in the 70s especially, and a little bit into the 80s, and then it disappeared. And now it's hot again. You know, everything goes around. And it's probably because everybody thinks, oh, it's the newest thing ever. I've never seen that. They've never had that. And it's like, well, no, it's new to you. It was here before. But I kind of like that it came back, because I'll be honest, I got to where I did not like it. I was never buying straw flowers. Straw flower. And now it's growing on me again. Okay.
Do you think we'll have straw flowers in class coming up with the September 16th one?
You know, we probably should, because it is on trend. So make a note of that. We need straw flowers. There's going to be so much. It's going to be, yeah, we'll have cool stuff. That I can promise. Okay, people, I want some questions. Ask away something so that they can talk to me, because otherwise I just keep babbling and it's not as much fun. I like to hear from you, see what's going on. This question always gets a lot of answers, so let's put this out there. What's for dinner? I know we're a flower school, but what's for dinner is always a big point of discussion. So fill me in. What's for dinner? I don't know what's for dinner in my world tonight. Last night, I'll tell you my dinner last night, was so much fun. We have a little restaurant down the road here called Negociant, and they do just like a little meat cheese plate with baguette, and they had live music with Pete Krebs, who's a friend of ours, and so we went down and listened to Pete play and had meat and cheese and a glass of wine, and it was just delightful. So that was mine last night. I don't know what we're doing tonight. I'm sure it's going to be delightful, though, David. So. Okay. So I could add some curly willow to this, because that would pick up the color of the basket and bring that in, adding to the unity of the arrangement, which would be a good thing. I'm going to set it aside though, because I want to have time to do my last arrangement. So when you see this one photoed tomorrow, it'll go into the Tulip Bunch tomorrow afternoon. When you see it photoed, it's going to have a little more in it. It'll be enhanced, because after live, I always go back and spruce things, because when you're working backwards, sometimes things aren't right where you really meant them to be. But also I just want to unify the basket to the arrangement. So I'm going to be adding some stuff to that. So that'll be coming back your way. So we have green apples done. Now we're going to go to red apples. Enough of the green side.
Okay, now I'm hungry.
What are they eating?
Goodness. Well, on Facebook, there's grilled chicken. Somebody's doing a Mediterranean veggie galette. Annie, you're having something delicious, some fish. Gosh, what was YouTube? Coconut shrimp,
Ooh.
oven fried potatoes, chicken teriyaki, albacore tuna. Oh, that's you. Steak, lots of fajitas, chicken fajitas, steak fajitas. Yeah.
Oh, fun. Very nice.
Spicy Italian chicken sausage with pasta.
Ooh. Yummers. So I guess doing live later in the day like this is good, because we find out what's going on in your world, which is just grand fun. And when we do flower school, we get done at 5, so everybody then goes out their different directions. And we have a list of restaurants that are nearby, because where we're located here, we're just outside of the city a little bit. We're in an area called, halfway between the Pearl District and Nob Hill. And so it's actually partially residential, as well as commercial, and as well as being in the city. And we're right on the streetcar line. And so you can go to dozens of fabulous restaurants. And so we give you a list, and it's like, well, try one every night, see which one you like, get on the streetcar, go do this, go do that. Perfect timing. And then this year, the September class will be here when the Swifts are swarming at Chapman School. So you can go down and watch the swifts. They're amazing. Thousands of them go swirling through the sky and then dive into an old furnace chimney. And it actually becomes a whole city event. Everybody goes and sits there to watch the swifts do their thing, and it's very fun. Very, very fun. Okay, red apples. With this one, I want to do it a little differently. And so I cut the end so that I have 2 points instead of just one, and then pierce in through the bottom, and then go back on the other side and pierce in through the bottom. So that I've got 2 apples on the same stick, and then glue again.
Sue has a question. Where do students stay when they attend floral school?
We are so lucky. We've got several options for lodging. Put that in there a little further. 5 blocks from here, so just down the road a little bit, and it's a flat road, so you're not walking uphill both directions in the snow. Yeah, it's not like that. It's just 5 blocks on the road is the Inn at Northwick Station, and it's wonderful because every unit has a little bitty kitchen, so you can make your own meals if you want, and it's very funky. It's a Portland independent hotel. It's not part of a big chain. And it makes me think of the Jetsons. It's very retro in the colors and the vibe, and it's just so fun. So there's that. Then we do have several that stay at Airbnbs because there are many of those right here in our zip code. And then we've got a couple other hotels. Then we have the hostel, which is about 7 blocks from here, which is a delightful place. I know some people say, oh, I don't want to be in a hostel. It's actually fabulous. Okay? So I planned this ahead so that you didn't have to wait for me. So I've got all the apples double-ended on the sticks, and then I'm just laying them across.
Ooh, you're making a little armature with those.
I am making an armature and a Delarobia effect. Delarobia is a design that we teach and is one of the questions on your test. So let's see who knows. How would you define Delarobia? And if you're a student, we'll see what the right answer is and you'll be ready for your test. So how do you define Delarobia? So I have my urn. It's filled with water with flower food. I already did that. That's all the mechanics. I don't have foam or floral netting in there. Then I have the ring of apples. And that one's not sitting the way I want it to. He's making me cranky. Come on there, little bugger. Okay, there we go. Just adjust them a little bit. I think what I'm going to do is swap out this way because it's balanced better, I think. You know, doing things live when you haven't practiced is a little bit intimidating, but we got this. No judgment. Okay, there we go. That one balanced better. Now I've got the apples in place. I can scooch them a little bit if I need to get spacing better, but it's not really going to matter. As long as they're all balanced here, that's really all I need. Then Nandina, isn't that beautiful? Oh, I just fell in love with that. Breaking it so that I get a nice open wood stem, and then feeding it through the armature to help lock everything in place.
Dwayne just chimed in on your question about where do you watch us, and he said, my wife watches on Facebook and I watch on YouTube. Your designs are amazing and you are very informative.
Well, thank you. You know, it is funny. oftentimes if I'm not with you on camera, I'll have both YouTube and Facebook open because I like to see the comments on both sides and get to know people on both sides. So I do go back and forth myself. And I didn't understand at the beginning, and this may be news to you all, or some of you are maybe not aware. When I first started watching on YouTube, I wasn't able to do comments, and I was like, well, why can't I do comments? You actually have to have a YouTube channel. You don't have to put anything on it, you don't have to use it, but if you don't have a channel, you can't comment on somebody else's. And so that was a learning curve. So then I had to set up a channel for me that I don't use, there's nothing on it, but that way I can go onto YouTube and make a comment and be part of the bunch because I felt left out. With Facebook, I believe you also have to have an account to be able to comment. I know we've got it open so you can watch even if you're not on Facebook. We keep it public so that anybody can watch, but I'm not positive you can do comments. So I'll have to think about that and find out. Okay. So filling in the center with viburnum berries. And the apples just sit there underneath looking beautiful. There we go. That part wasn't filling in quite the way I wanted it to, because I wanted it to be full all the way around, and I was a little bit light over there. So now I've got it filled in. Now I kind of like that. I can also then add a little bit of amaranthus. This will lengthen by carrying the eye down a bit so that even though it's round, I'll have a little bit of a line in the spot. Can I leave it in here? Let it come through. How does that look on camera? Because I can't see it. I'll turn it around here in a minute, but you guys let me know. Are there holes? What do I need to be doing? You are my eyes out there, so you got to tell me. Warn Leanne, that's in the wrong spot.
Well, they're loving it.
Oh, good.
Lovely.
Or my favorite is when I'm doing a vase and I put the stem on the wrong side of the vase. I'm like, oops, it's supposed to go in, not out. We've all done that. And I'm just breaking it apart because I don't want it to be so long, but I do want some trailing bits. This side I'm going to weave underneath the apple a little bit just to give it some depth. So I wove that one under, and I think I'll do that on this side too. So put that in, feeding it in, making sure it gets into the water, because if there's no water, it's not going to live. And then bringing it down underneath so that you get some depth, so that there's different layers there, sort of shadowed underneath. Okay. I could add more apples up into it. Ooh, I wasn't planning on that. I only have 3 more sticks. You know what I'm going to? I'll put 3. They're only going to have 1, which is not going to be as stable as that should be. I thought I had 3, maybe I have 2. No more, but sometimes if you don't have a wood pick, you can improvise. That's what I always tell students, is that, we tell you how to do it the right way and we show you things, but sometimes you just don't have what you want. And so there is absolutely nothing wrong with taking an old branch, curly willow, and piercing that in. And then just use that as your stick. It was a little bit short, find a better spot for it. There we go. You don't have to have exactly what we show you. So taking, that one's gonna be too long, and adjusting based on your reality what materials you have available. So sometimes if you don't have a wood stick or a skewer, then you just find a branch and cut it apart and add your apple to that stick and then just set it down in. That's going to be a little too long. There we go. Do you like it? I like it. It kind of makes me happy, I'll be honest. I'm going to add one more apple on a stick. Makes me want to make caramel apples. But maybe not tonight.
Drake wondered, is this headed in the Biedermeier direction?
Yay, Drake! Flower school graduate, knows the vocabulary. And did we get a definition for Biedermeier?
We had a definition for the Delarobia part,
Gotcha.
at least, and I just lost who it was. Where did they go? It was Sherry and Josh with fruit in your arrangements.
Okay. Which gives you the Delarobia. It combines garlands and vines and fruits and vegetables and flowers. And then to go to the Biedermeier, it can be concentric circles. So I started with that circle of apples, but then I didn't continue with circles. I did just random placement. So concentric circles can be, but are not required. What is required is that there can be no negative space. It needs to be a solid mass of material. So this isn't quite Biedermeier because I've got so much extension. Generally a true Biedermeier would be very compact, very formal and pristine in the form. It doesn't have this legginess and softness. So this would be a combination or a hybrid version or interpretive, that's a good word, interpretive design that is a little bit of Delarobia, a little bit of Biedermeier, and a whole lot of fun, really is what it comes down to. See what else I want to put into this one. I've got some celosia, and I've got a little bit of gomphrena. I kind of like that. The gomphrena is making me happy. And I do have a small bit of coxcomb, the coxcomb celosia, which that picks up that little yellow of the understory of the apple. You can see, I mean, they're red apples, but there's a touch of yellow to it, that little tinge. So the coxcomb celosia really picks up on that nicely. So I think I am going to put some of that in there. Plus it gives me great texture and will draw the eye into the emphasis area. So those of you that are in basic floral design, if somebody asks you to define Biedermeier, the most important thing is that there is no negative space. And then it can have concentric circles. It's generally round or conical. It doesn't have to be totally round. It can be conical, but never, ever, ever any negative space. So it's the antithesis of a linear design, where a linear design oftentimes focuses on ample negative space, and the Biedermeier has 0 negative space. Okay, that's my flower school teaching lesson of the moment.
Wayne had a question. He doesn't have apples in Palm Springs, but he has grapefruit. Could he do those instead?
Oh, wouldn't that be fun? Oh, Wayne, yes. Citrus does really well, and grapefruit or limes or lemons, and yes, you've got such wonderful citrus down there. That would be wonderful. I was just looking, thinking, oh, I need to go back to Palm Springs. I was just looking at flights and I didn't book one, but I need to get back down there and see y'all. Yes, Annie, what you got there?
Dennis on YouTube says he loves this arrangement, but wants some more green up above to tie in the vase. I see you do have some sedum. I don't know if that's an idea.
Ah, well, let's try it. Because we could bring the green, because I didn't unify anything with the green. I really added no foliage per se, but we do have sedum and we do have the dianthus. Ooh, look at that. The sedum looks great with that, adds even a little more texture. And it too has that sort of blushy yellow color to it that picks up the apples. Oh, good idea, so thank you. Let's unify the design by coordinating the color by enhancing with yellow. Using all my school teacher words. We've been practicing around here because we got to get ready for you. And we've been practicing using our smart board, that we know what we're doing and getting our words correct. Because you can't just say, yeah, make it pretty. Yes, make it pretty, but it also has to have the why you're doing something so that it's pretty and you understand. Because that way when you're doing it 10 years from now, you can go back to your flower school training and go, oh yeah, if this, then this, and it all works. So, do you like that green in there? Is that a good choice? Okay guys, you've got about 3 minutes. What do you want to know? What should I have said? What did I not say? What would make you go, okay, I learned blah, 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 blah. That was worth that investment of time. And I'm going to say thank you for the input on the YouTube and Facebook, because it was just something that I was very curious about as to how and why and what difference it made. So those of you that took the time to fill us in on that, thank you very much. Because we're trying to figure out the best ways to get education out to each of you and do it in the way you want to learn and provide you what you want to know. So when you answer our questions like that, it helps us as we're doing our planning and organizing and thinking, oh, we need to do this because they said that. And we do listen to you because you guys are the ones in charge. It's all about you. We just are here to help with the collaboration, but really, it's all about you. So I'm going to be doing a little more fussing on this. You know me, I got to fuss for a while to get everything perfect. Then tomorrow, Ricky will be taking the professional photos. She'll have all 3 arrangements so that you can see them. They'll be posted tomorrow afternoon in the Tulip Bunch on Facebook. If you're not already a member of Tulip Bunch, that would be our graduates, our students, and our Flower Lovers Club members. So if you're one of those 3, then all you have to do is request. Send us a note. You say, I want to be a member of the Tulip Bunch. There's 3 questions you have to answer. Then we validate that you are a graduate, a student, or a Flower Lovers Club member and pop you right in there. It's a great resource to network with your peers and get additional information and validation. So it just guides you further in your career. So on that note, I think I'm going to stop because I'll just keep fussing. I did get the green in, I agree. It needed it and it helps pull up from the vessel, so that is good. I'll add a few more things. Anything else that I need to answer before they disappear?
How many apples did you use?
How many apples did I use? Oh, 1, 2, 3.
That's like how many gumballs are in
I started to count.
I think there are 17.
Okay.
I bought 2 4-pound bags of little, I think they were gala apples, a smaller size, and it was 2 4-pound bags, and I have 3 apples left over. So I would say this is 3.5 pounds of apples or thereabouts. And how many you need is going to depend on how big they are. These are the small, when I was growing up, you called them schoolboy apples, that they were for lunches and such. So they were really kind of small, and it was 2 4-pound bags, and I have 3 left over. So that gives you a clue if you go hunting for apples, or maybe you have an apple tree you go harvest from. But yeah, I used, I think, 17 if I counted correctly. Wouldn't that be funny if this was exactly 20? That might have been 10 in each bag. I don't know. I bought them by the pounds, but that could be possible. And so if there were 3 left, that would have been 10 per bag. So 20 apples, I used 17. So, okay. Thanks for joining me. It's been a wonderful hour. Congratulations to Ricky, the creative director for Floral Design Institute. Thank you, Michelle and Annie, for keeping me on track. Thank you, Dove, for being here. Susie, Caledonia, for doing everything. You keep us going. And thanks, David. I'll be home for dinner in a little bit. Bye for now. Get out there and do something you love.